Hello everybody. The topic we have chosen is reuse code. We intend to cut the system landscape boundaries. What is the objective of this particular demo? Very often, when we are developers, we try to do similar coding again and again in different projects. For example, a code that is used to call a service or do a mapping or maybe do an application log or a BAPI call. In every project a developer codes, he tries to repeat these set of activities because he is not able to cut or see the code which was delivered to a different customer in a different system. We want to cut this landscape boundaries and make the code available for reuse across the system. But of course, we would also preserve the IP rights. What is the constraint in reusing code, just like the reuse of other tools? First of all, the developer does not know in which system, which client, which login ID he is able to get the piece of code that he intends to. Second thing, he may not be even having access to such systems. So the solution we intend to make here is to have a central repository where code from different landscapes are stored, a search engine just like Google where we would be able to search code across projects and also use the code in the relevant projects wherever applicable along with the different objects. This is what we intend to do. Over to the system. Now let's assume that there is a developer who is using a customer system for developing a piece of code. Now he owns the IP rights, but however he would like to use this code for further projects. Now the code that is needed for reusing or making an infrastructure to import itself is not available in the customer system. So here we have developed a piece of code in a map which is mailed to him in Outlook. So you can have a look at this. This piece of code is unique because in order to execute this whole piece of code, there are no declarations, DB, package, nothing is required. It is a running piece of code of several thousand lines. All he needs to do is go to SE38 and cut and paste this code in the system in which he is developing. So let's go to the system. Now here we have the program cut pasted. So he does not need to do any declarations or anything in the customer system. This one piece of program helps him do the reuse magic. So now let's execute this program. This program helps you to pick up objects which are development objects or pick up a transport request and take all the contents of the transport request or choose a development class or a package and import all of its contents. There are three ways in which you can proceed. Let's see the first one. Here, if you want to choose development objects, whether it's a program, report, function groups, classes, methods, IDOCs, so the developer is free to reuse any of whatever he has done for this project. Similarly, if you choose a transport request, it looks for a transport request number from which the contents can be imported. And if it is a development class, it looks for a development class name. This is the source of the code. Now, in addition to the code, we also need some more details. For example, we need the project name or some details about the project, who is the customer, what are the search terms in order to reuse this code and so on. So here we have picked up a project. Now we are trying to reuse the service column of this project in another project. So we decide to reuse this. So now let's execute this program. What it will do is create the contents into the code contents are imported into a file path which is given below. Now don't be worried. Now what will happen to the file path and the contents? So here we are choosing a class. Now let's see what is inside this class. This class has a set of methods, some attributes, and some other events that are there. Now this class is called FTP command. Let's assume that the developer wants to reuse this class in other projects. So let's start the extraction process. Now what is happening is all the contents of the code from this particular package, this particular class is getting imported to that file path in the form of an XML. Now, the obvious question that will come is, how would you reuse this XML across projects? Or is it structured? Or is it safe and secure if it is going to be extracted in an XML file? You don't need to worry about all of this because the program what we have done will extract into this folder only for a few seconds. Within the next few seconds, there is a batch program that monitors this file path and makes all of this sucked up into a HANA DB. So this is only an intermediate step. You can just see in a few seconds that whatever that gets extracted out of this program is extracted to this file folder only for a few seconds, and immediately in front of your eyes they disappear and get loaded into a HANA DB. So let's open the file folder path and we will watch this disappear right in front of our eyes. Now, right now it is constructing all the piece of code that was there. So this many different XML objects were created. Now let's see for ourselves in the next few seconds without any manual action, this particular folder along with its contents will get disappeared and get sucked up into the HANA DB as records. Now, what would happen is the system is loading all of these contents into HANA and deleting this folder immediately. So now the code has reached a safe HANA DB server, which is only accessible to the right developers and it is safe and secure. Now, what would happen is, like this, we could have different projects importing the code to HANA, and this becomes a central repository of all the code that we deliver. Now you can see it disappear right in the screen. So the folder is empty now. Now let's go into a web screen, a search engine which we have built. Now here is a simple search. You can give a keyword and then search. Let's first put star and search for all the projects that are imported reused content. So there are different projects in which different reuse items, functionalities have been imported. There are so many. Now our project, let's give a keyword search with the project name or maybe the customer name and search for it. So here is our project which is Acmia. Yeah, here it goes. Now we are able to see the search hit list. So if you want to get the details of this particular project and its code, now we click on the display button. The code, the ABAP code that we actually imported to the HANA DB is now available to a different developer through this search. He is able to see the whole content in an HTML page, all the methods neatly grouped together. You can see the ABAP code on the right hand side. Now, not only the code, if there are any declarations, any tables, you can also see the table name, field name, data element, domain. So the import, when it happened, we just gave a class name. But when we are able to search it, we get all the details clearly segregated and not only that particular object, but also related objects. So any developer can cut and paste this code if it is relevant for this different project and then reuse code accordingly. So by this, we save a lot of time and also the redundancy of effort is also avoided. So by this, now we can have a central repository of IP rights of all the code that we deliver to our customers and also maintain it much better. Hope you would make the best use of it in your projects and go live with it. Thanks a lot for this opportunity.